There was a time you could walk onto any lot and buy a new Honda Fit or Toyota Yaris dirt cheap. A fun little box that would outlive your marriage. I loved those cars, worked on hundreds of them, and every one is gone now, not because nobody bought them, because the folks who built them figured out they could squeeze you for more. Let me walk you through the graveyard first, because once you see what we lost, you are going to be just as annoyed as I am. Think about what used to live on a normal dealer lot. The Honda Fit was a tiny box that could swallow more cargo than cars twice its size, and it would run basically forever. I had a Fit roll into my shop with over 300,000 miles on the original engine. A kid bought it brand new as his first car, and now his daughter drives it. Honda discontinued it after 2020. The Toyota Yaris died the same year. The entire Scion brand, the boxy little wagon, the funky hatch, the sporty coupe, all of it wiped out back in 2016. And that sporty coupe was the best-selling Scion they ever made, pulling in the youngest buyers in the whole industry, kids in their 20s getting their first real car. The Mitsubishi Mirage, the cheapest new car you could buy in this country, built its very last one in 2024. And once that Mirage was gone, the cheapest brand new car in America jumped up to around $22,000. The floor just fell out from under everybody. And the part that really gets under my skin is that Mitsubishi had one of their best sales years in ages in 2024, and that little Mirage was a big reason why. People were lined up buying them, and the company killed it anyway. So when Honda or Toyota tells you these cars died because nobody wanted them, that excuse falls apart the second you look at the numbers. The Fit got replaced by the HR-V crossover, which costs more, and Honda was perfectly happy to sell you the pricier one. Honda basically came right out and said the Fit had to go so they could pour everything into the Civic and the Accord, their real bread and butter. So the real story isn't about demand, it's about money, and a few decisions nobody got to see them make. But before I show you those choices, I need to kill the thing I hear in my shop every single week. People walk in convinced new cars just got insanely expensive. And on paper, sure, the average new car now sells for over $50,000. But that average is a magic trick. It's high because all the cheap cars got deleted. Plain and simple. Let me give you the example that flat out rewired my brain. Take the Mazda Miata. Back in 1990, it stickered for $13,800. Run that through inflation, and it comes out around $35,000 in today's money. A brand new Miata costs you less. It starts just under $30,000. The Miata is cheaper today, in real money, than the one your dad could have bought new. I have worked on every generation of that car, from the pop-up headlight original to the newest one, and I will say it flat out. The Miata is the most honest car left in the business. Mazda kept it light, kept it simple, and refused to play the price games everybody else played. So the cheap car didn't vanish because building cheap got impossible. Mazda proves that's a lie. It vanished because almost everybody else decided not to bother. And that goes for the fun cars too. The Econo boxes weren't the only ones getting priced out of reach. The affordable sports car is on the same chopping block. Take the Toyota GR86 and its twin, the Subaru BRZ. Same car underneath, born from that old Scion FRS, built to be a cheap, light, rear-wheel drive blast. But for 2026, Subaru quietly axed the base BRZ. The cheapest one you can get now jumped more than $4,000. That leaves the Toyota version over $5,000 cheaper than its own twin. It's the same car, $5,000 apart, because Subaru looked at the data and decided you would just buy the loaded one. They pretty much said it out loud too. More than 9 out of 10 of their buyers were already grabbing the loaded versions anyway. And look at the hot Honda Civic Type R. When it first landed here, it stickered for almost $35,000. Today, that same car is pushing $48,000 before the dealer slaps a markup on top. Same story over at Toyota, where the hot rod GR Corolla now stickers north of $37,000. The cheaper sporty Civic stayed semi-reasonable, I will give Honda that, but the ceiling went straight through the roof. So who actually flipped the switch on all of this? Follow the money, because it gets ugly fast. This is the math that runs the entire car industry. A little economy car like the Fit makes the car maker almost nothing, a couple $100, sometimes a loss. But look at a big pickup truck. General Motors pulls at least $17,000 in profit out of a single full-size truck. $17,000 on one truck versus a few hundred on one Fit. If that were your factory, what are you building? Now stack one more thing on top. Every new car has to carry more required equipment than ever before. Backup cameras became mandatory. Lane keeping, automatic braking, a pile of airbags, all of it adds cost. Now here's where it gets cruel. A few $100s of mandatory gear barely dents a $60,000 truck. But on a $14,000 economy car, that same cost is the difference between making money and losing it. The cheapest cars got squeezed the hardest. The Mirage in its final years even started forcing buyers to pay for a so-called welcome kit of floor mats just to nudge the sticker up. But the margins are not even the part that makes me want to throw a wrench across the bay. This next one is because the people who were supposed to be helping made it so much worse. The federal government sets the fuel economy rules. Sounds great, you want cleaner, more efficient cars. But look at how they actually wrote it. They tied each car's target to its size on the ground, basically how much space it takes up between the four wheels. The bigger that rectangle, the easier the fuel economy target the car has to hit. The smaller the car, the harder the target. A bigger vehicle gets an easier job. A small, efficient car gets punished with a tougher one. Line up a tiny Yaris next to a full-size pickup, and the pickup is the one getting the easy pass. So a rule that was supposed to cut fuel use ended up paying the car companies to build bigger. I dug into this, and some folks out at the University of Michigan actually ran the numbers. The rule nudged the whole market toward bigger vehicles and cost us real fuel economy in the process. I will plant my flag right here. That footprint rule is one of the dumbest rules in the entire car world, and it helps strangle the small car while wearing a green ribbon the whole time. If you want to argue with me on that, the comments are right down there, and yes, I actually read them. And if a mechanic breaking down how this stuff really works is what you are here for, do me a quick favor and hit subscribe. It keeps the channel going. Now let me show you the moment it all locked into place. It was the chip shortage. Back in 2021, the world ran short on the little semiconductors every modern car needs, and almost 8 million cars never got built. So car makers had to ration. With a limited pile of chips, do you build the cheap econo box that nets you a few $100, or the loaded truck that nets you 10 grand? You already know the answer. They poured every chip into the high profit stuff. Then the trap snapped shut behind them. A lot of those cheap trims they cut to survive the shortage never came back. The chips came back. The bargain versions did not. People in the industry even have a name for it now: trim inflation. The cheap version quietly disappears, and suddenly the only one left on the lot is the expensive one. But just when you thought the squeeze had finally let up, 2025 rolled in with a brand new one. In the spring of 2025, the country slapped fresh tariffs on imported cars. For a stretch there, Japanese-built cars were hit with a tax of about 27.5%. It later got negotiated down toward 15%, but think about what that means for a cheap car. On a cheap little import they're barely making money on, 15% can wipe out the whole profit. So picture Nissan, building the Versa down in Mexico, already making pennies on it, now handed a tariff on every single one. At some point you just stop building it. And that's exactly what's happening to the last few truly cheap cars left standing. The cheap, fun Japanese car is not actually dead. It's alive, thriving, and selling like crazy. You're just not allowed to buy it. Over in Japan, they have a whole class of car called the K car. Tiny, dirt cheap, sips fuel, and a real hoot to drive. The Honda N-Box has been the best-selling vehicle in all of Japan for years running, and a brand new one goes for well under $10,000. Those little K cars make up close to 40% of every new car sold over there. They have a whole history of pint-sized sports cars too, like the little Honda Beat, a mid-engine roadster with a tiny screaming 3-cylinder. The last car the founder of Honda himself personally signed off on before he passed. So why can you not buy one new? because of a rule that says an imported car has to be 25 years old before it can legally come into the country. A K car from 2001, fine, drag it in. A brand new one, illegal. Think about that. The truly affordable Japanese car still exists. We are just locked out of it here, while $80,000 trucks fill every lot in town. There has even been talk in Washington lately about finally letting these little cars in after folks in charge got a look at them overseas. So the appetite is obviously there, the door is just bolted shut from our side. If that doesn't tell you this was a choice and not some natural disaster, I don't know what will. So every one of these choices, the killed models, the truck math, the backwards rule, the tariffs, they all land on the exact same person, the regular buyer just trying to get to work. When you delete the cheap car, you don't actually save anybody money. You shove them into debt. Look at what is on dealer paperwork right now. To afford these bigger, pricier cars, people are stretching loans out to 84 months. That is 7 years on a single car. The average new car payment is now over $800 a month. And nearly a third of folks trading in a car owe more on it than the thing is worth. The average person who's underwater is now buried under more than $7,000, the worst it's ever been. Then they roll that negative equity into the next loan like a snowball that never stops growing. And the people getting hit hardest are exactly the ones who used to lean on a cheap Honda or Toyota to get to work. They got pushed into the used market right as used prices exploded, almost 25% in a single year at the worst of it, then into longer loans, then underwater on the whole mess. For the folks rolling old debt into a brand new loan, it's even uglier, a record payment north of $900 a month. You can see it out on the road too. The average car out there is almost 13 years old now, an all-time high because people just can't swing anything new. But the spreadsheet stuff only really hits you when it walks through your door. I had a young couple in my shop just last month, both of them working, trying to find one reliable new car under 20 grand. There was not one, not a single real option. I ended up pointing them toward a clean used Corolla instead, which, hey, is pretty much exactly what I told all of you to do in my video on the used Japanese cars I would actually buy right now. That one holds up even better today. So that is the real story. The affordable Japanese car was not killed by inflation, and it was not killed because we stopped loving it. It got killed by truck money and a backwards rule book, and the tariffs just finished the job. The cheap, fun little car that got an entire generation moving got deleted because somebody upstairs ran the numbers and decided you would pay more. If this fired you up even half as much as it fires me up, go watch my video on the 5 Japanese car brands that are robbing you blind right now, and the 5 that are still worth your money. Because if you are about to spend your hard-earned cash, there is a real good chance the brand you were already leaning toward is sitting on the wrong half of that list. Find out before you sign anything. I will see you over there.